Hey guys, so this is the best build or the most consistent build on the current update, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people have different ideas about what the front line should be. Some people still really like the three warriors front line. Some people still really like the God of War 3 front line. I think this is good because you get the feathered bonus with the new Shining Archer. You get Razor Claw, who's easy to level 3 because you're going druids, and then you can slot the Agursis bonus in with Soul Reaper, and at level 2, he's really strong too. So this is six hunters without Tide Hunter, or rather Tsunami Stalker. Before we get into the game, because this is going to be a little bit different today, I'm giving away an Xbox One on the channel this month. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell on the video to ensure that you can get the notification so that when the video goes live, you can throw down a comment. That comment guarantees you an entry for the Xbox One. At the end of the month, I'm going to take every video, select a random comment from the video, put all of those comments into a giveaway drawer, and then I'm going to select the comment from that. So make sure that you do leave those comments. Also, Claytano giving away a PS4 on the channel this month, so go and check him out. Now, I told you today was going to be a slightly different video. That is because I recorded this at the Riot offices in Berlin, so I wasn't actually able to talk over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through my decision making and my gameplay, basically as if I'm doing a review of my game. So I was actually on a 100% win streak up until round 15. Now I'll tell you how I got there first. So I picked up an Agursis Ranger, I picked up a Shining Archer, and I picked up a Skull Hunter very early on. There are 1-cost and 2-cost units. They're pretty easy to find. The addition of Shining Hunter now means you can activate the 3 Hunter bonus very, very, very quickly and with a higher chance of success than before. I find this really important because essentially the 3 Hunter bonus in the early game is really strong, especially if you can 2-star your hunters. It is one of the strongest early game bonuses. It's then transitioning it into 6 hunters, which is what always made it quite hard to transition into the late game. So now that we've got the easy 6 hunters that we don't rely on a legendary, 6 hunters is one of the strongest builds in the game. I'll tell you about the other additions that I made here. So I put a Taboo Witcher in and a Lightblade Knight in because A, I got them to level 2, they were pairs that I had. B, it gives me the 3 feathered bonus on my Taboo Witcher on my Lightblade Knight, so they're a bit more tanky, as well as my Shining Archer, of course. And then I also picked up a Swordman level 2, gives me the Cave Clan bonus with the Skull Hunter, who was also level 2, and also Swordman level 2 is still kind of broken. His damage is still just absolutely insane. So that's why I picked up those particular units in this instance. So I think this built me a very, very strong early composition. I focused on just getting pairs, and then I slotted those pairs in where it made sense. You can see here now I also picked up the Shining Assassin. So what you're going to notice me do, as well as the Dwarf Sniper, what you're going to notice me do over the next few rounds is the fact that I'm on such a massive win streak. The best thing for me to do is utilize that win streak gold and putting it into levels. I think up until round 15, it's good to obviously try and ensure the strength of your composition, and you always level up early to essentially essentially guarantee the fact that you're going to have a strong composition in the late game, or you can maintain a win streak. But when you're just making so much gold and you already have all of your pairs pretty much on the board, there isn't really much point spending it to roll, because right now I'm very, very, there's no need for me to pick up anything to keep myself in the game. I don't really need to roll. I've got 2 stars all over the board. Everything, unless I'm offered something on the first roll that I get on each round, I basically just invest everything into levels. So I'll pick up this unicorn and I'll rank it up to sell it, but I'm also going to keep it for the time being to make sure that I can get a warpwood sage. And then everything goes back into levels. Like on the next round, it's going to be round 18. I'll be level 8 by round 18. And that also allows me to then either start thinking about rolling at level 8, because at level 8 you can activate your 6 hunters, or I can then start thinking about going straight to level 9. I mean, even if I then get a Tsunami Stalker, you're in a situation where you've got 6 hunters with the Tsunami Stalker. So you'll see that although I'm not actually increasing the strength of my composition much, because I don't really need to, I'm just increasing the strength of my overall build by just going for levels because I'm just so far ahead. Like this is what you want to do when you're in the lead. If you have a 100% win streak up until this point in the game, you really, 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 really want to ensure that you're just going straight for levels because levels are the most important thing that you can do at this particular time. You'll see here that, again, I can just sell the unicorn. I pick up the 1 unicorn, sell the 2-star, it gets me an extra 3 gold. And now I can start doing a little bit of rolling, mainly because I'm just very, very far ahead. I actually end up putting on the Evil Knight at level 8 just to give myself the Agursis bonus. That won't stay too long. I'll change that for a Soul Reaper eventually, but realistically, level 9 is where this whole composition really comes online. So level 9 would be where I'm aiming for. But it's so easy for me to get to level 9 from this position because I'm just so far ahead. And I just haven't lost rounds in a long time. And that's mainly due to the fact that I got that 3 Hunter bonus early on. I was a little bit lucky. I picked up a 2-star August and a 2-star Skull Hunter super early, and then I just had the Shining Archer just to give myself the 3 Hunter bonus. And then I also found a 2-star Taboo Witcher and I found a 2-star Lightblade Knight. And any pair that you just shove on the field in the early game is going to be good for you. You don't want to invest much further than that 2-star unless it's going to fit for your build, which is why I've obviously got the extra Agursis Ranger there because I'm very close to a 3-star Agursis Ranger. But in general, you just want to be like super focused on just getting those pairs on the board to maintain win streaks. So I actually could pick up the Evil Knight here. I think I do. I also pick up the Taboo Witcher. Yeah, so I go for the. It might seem a little bit strange that I went for the 2-star Evil Knight, but again, like there wasn't really anything else that I needed to consider. I also now have the Siren, which means as soon as I find a Wind Ranger, I have 6 Hunters. Which would be absolutely insane. As soon as I find the Wind Ranger, which I haven't found all game yet, I can essentially get 6 Hunters on the go. This is the first round that I lose, by the way. I'm pretty sure I remember it. This guy had very, very strong assassins. Oh no, not yet. Okay, no. I think this is the guy that'll eventually beat me with the assassins. But I think I don't maintain this 100% win streak forever. You see that I stacked all of my mana generation onto Siren. That's basically the only person I need to worry about generating mana on this composition. So you can sometimes give it to Wind Ranger, but no, for the most part, I'm all about getting the Siren her ultimate off as quickly as possible. Also, there's my Razor Claw, which I've just managed to come across too. So Razor Claw is obviously a great addition. I have to think about selling something for Razor Claw. Think I sell a Shining Archer. It's probably the best thing to sell here, if I sell anything at all. If I didn't, I could also just sell off my Taboo Witcher or my Lightblade Knight. If I don't sell something here, I'm doing something wrong. So this is good. This is a good review. This is a good review. I want that Razor Claw. It's a 4-cost unit. It's difficult to get hold of sometimes. I do need to make space for that Razor Claw. I'm also giving all of my attack damage items to my Agursis Ranger, by the way. It's not something that you would always do, but it's because I've got a Frantic Mask on her. Her attack speed's really, really high. I don't buy that Razor Claw, do I? Okay, that was a mistake. You can see here I'm pretty close to a 3-star Agursis as well. Oh, there you go. There's my 3-star Agursis. I also found a Warpwood Sage. Now, there's a Razor Claw, bailed out, a little bit bailed out. We need to now start thinking about the 6 Hunter bonus, right? So there we've got the Dwarf Sniper as well. I would probably sell off my Swordman, and then put my Dwarf Sniper on. Yeah, there we go, 6 Hunter bonus. And we also have a lot of items now that we're looking to combine. Like I almost have an Orb of Refresh. And one of the things that the new patch has done, it has essentially allowed people to get very, very high tier items because people donate their items afterwards. I should pick up that Razor Claw. I should really pick up that Razor Claw. Yeah, good. me looking back on my own gameplay where I don't pick up the Razor Claw. That's a feels bad, man. So I think it's actually the guy that's also on a massive win streak that beats me. You see the guy below me? I do remember he's the guy that ends up beating me. But still, I'm just going to keep investing into levels because the next unit that I want to bring on is actually the Razor Claw. I also want to get a Warpwood Sage on in place of my Taboo Witcher, which apparently I just do now at level 1, which is fine. I also want to get I also really want to get a Negesis Ranger on in place of my Evil Knight, because Evil Knight level 2, while he's a good tank, doesn't really offer much more. And Soul Reaper will give me a little bit of healing across the team too. At level 10, in this build, you can go on pick up something like Dark Spirit and go for the 2 Warlock bonus, which gives you a lot of sustain as well. So this is the guy that, this guy's playing full feathered, and he gets pretty beefy with this 3-star Razor Claw. The 3-star Razor Claw bear slaps me, and then he gets a good Wind Ranger ultimate off, and that's my streak down the drain. Perfect game, Rip, but this guy was also doing really well, so I can't really complain. So I'm level 9 now. I'm going to bring on the Razor Claw. Now my primary focus is essentially leveling up my Druids, because my Warpwood Sage is level 1, and my Razor Claw is level 1 as well. I have all the Druids, so I just need to find the extra bits. I keep myself at 50 gold here, which is good. Well done, Excoundrel. That was a good thing that you needed to do. And I've basically got a couple of level 1s in the board that need fixing. So essentially, I need a level 2 Dwarf Sniper, need a level 2 Wind Ranger. Really would like a level 2 Siren. Level 2 Siren is one of the most crucial things for a Hunter composition, because it's just that ult buys you so much time versus compositions that you're not necessarily great versus. It helps you versus Knights, it helps you versus Assassins. But you can see my composition hasn't really got strong for quite some time. Now, this is basically a result of what we've done earlier in the game. We basically invested massively into levels and invested much less into rolling. Now, the reason that I don't mind about these losses is because I had 100 HP. So HP is a resource as well. That's something that you always need to consider. HP is a resource as well. So don't worry if you're tanking HP, because it's not the end of the world. Like I said, it is a resource that you need to use. And by having 100 HP at like round 23, if I lose a couple of rounds here and there, that's really not the worst thing that could have happened to me. I rolled down pretty aggressively to 30 gold here because, again, you saw I started losing to a couple of compositions in the game. My primary focus is to get that Siren to 2-star, pick up another couple of 2-stars like Dwarf Sniper and Wind Ranger, so I can just be a bit more competitive versus those builds that I'm not particularly competitive versus. And this is, again, taking on Cecito. I feel like they've actually made the matching worse, by the way. You'll notice that people are starting to donate me items here because they've been dying. The reason that I put the Ring of Life on my Siren is because if I get a magic crystal donated to me, or I find a magic crystal, I have then got myself a bloody Orb of Refresh on my Siren, which at level 2 would just be absolutely ludicrous. So you see I'm rolling down here. I'm looking for a Razor Claw realistically, but I'm going to take the Skull Hunter. I'm also looking for a level 2 Siren. I've got a couple of like upgrades that I can really look to aim for. But nothing really pops out from rolling down, although the Skull Hunter is there, so that's always a good addition. Who would you sell for the Skull Hunter here? I think selling the Unicorn is the best idea. Just because Unicorn, you're likely going to find one again. See, there's the Magic Crystal. So now I've actually got an Orb of Refresh on my Siren, which is what I did specifically. And there we go, Orb of Refresh on my Siren. So as soon as she gets to level 2, I have got an insane late game powerhouse. There's the Wind Ranger. Oh, there's Skull Hunter as well. So that's going to clear up a lot of space in my board. I can just sell the Unicorn here, and then go back up to a Skull Hunter. Like that. And now I've got loads of board space. I've got a level 3 Skull Hunter on the board. So we're actually in a super strong position now. I rolled down because I have so much HP to work with, and these upgrades, I'm looking to start to build a streak again. So I'm looking to start to sort of get back into the game. The level 3 Skull Hunter is going to be tanky. He's going to help me versus the Feathered player. The biggest upgrade that I'm going to get versus the Feathered player is likely going to be a level 3 Razor Claw, though, because he's going to buy me a lot of time. But you can see I'm just like super strong again in this position. This is another Hunter player, by the way. He's right down at the bottom of the pack. Once people start dying, they're going to start like absolutely just throwing items all over the board, and you can see they're appearing on everybody's board here. If you go back and check mine, I got a load of really powerful items here, as you can see. I actually end up getting the Dragonbone Ballista on my Excoundrel Ranger, plus everything else here. I got a load of defensive items which I can give over to my Warpwood Sage, because I just like to make my Warpwood Sage as tanky as possible. I got some more mana generation for my Siren. Basically, I have got a super strong hunter composition now. Like this is a super strong. I doubled up on that was a mistake, by the way. You can't stack kappas, but I just did it. But yeah, you can't stack kappas. You need to watch the damage that my Genesis Ranger does, by the way. Now, like sometimes she'll crit for like a ridiculous amount of damage. I'm talking like Phantom Shadow Crawler level crits. She really crits. Like 1,166. Just ridiculous amount of damage with the items that she's got right now, which is making her pump out like 10,000 DPS in these rounds. At this point, I'm looking for a level 2 Siren, and I'm looking for a level 2 Wind Ranger as a priority, and then I'm hoping to get my Razor Claw back up to level 3. But these rounds are just now me positioning versus the Feathered guy over and over again. This entire last game is a 1v1 versus me and the Feathered player. Feathered generally are counted by 6 Hunters, so I'm pretty confident that my build is going to win here. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that my build is going to win here overall, but I could really make it much easier on myself by finding that level 2 Siren and finding that level 2 Wind Ranger. But you're going to start to see the power of Siren when she's got the Orb of Refresh on. Fortunately, everyone was too far away there, but she's going to get her ultimate off again, as you can see here. And then we end up beating him pretty handily on my board. However, he does fight back against me on his board. Part of that is due to the fact that he's got a level 3 Razor Claw. Level 3 Razor Claw is very powerful. Also, he's got a level 2 Wind Ranger, which I now managed to find as well. I'm going to pick up the Unicorn here, because obviously I want to give myself the ability to get a level 3 Warpwood Sage, also a level 3 Razor Claw, so picking up the Druids would be a really good idea. Yeah, thank you. I was just testing myself there, just testing myself on looking back, hoping that I'd managed to pick up that particular unit. But we're both pretty even at this point in time. I don't see any point of me going to level 9. Looking at the economy, we're both kind of struggling for gold. So I'm going to build up a little bit. I'd like to build up to I'd like to build up on this round, next round, over the neutral round, and then roll down again. I don't really think a level 10 is going to do much for me, apart from getting a Warlock bonus on my board, but it's not actually what's going to win me the game. What's going to win me the game is getting a level 2 Siren, and then maybe, obviously, very close to a level 3 Shining Archer. But you'll see that eventually I should end up winning out versus him quite consistently, just because, like I said, Hunters generally counter Feathered absolutely 100% directly. The entire point of a Feathered build is that you have evasion, and Hunters pierce evasion. So, you know, the point of my build is to counter Feathered in the overall thing. So I rolled around too early here, but I was kind of rewarded because I picked up the stuff that I needed. But yeah, you shouldn't roll on neutral rounds because this is a guaranteed win for me. It's guaranteed interest. It would have given me maybe one more roll. So yeah, you shouldn't roll on neutral rounds. Don't do that, guys. I did it because I was greedy and couldn't wait, but it is what it is. So the Wraith Shard and Dracula Mask picked up here. These are some pretty good items. Ring of Life as well. I put the Wraith Shard on Genesis Ranger. Now, I don't need to put the Wraith Shard on Genesis Ranger just because she already has a ridiculous attack speed, but I did it just because I was like, well, do you know what? Screw it. Because I was like, hell, I just want to stack everything on her. Now, you might ask me why I'm not going for the Tsunami Stalker, because obviously it's one of the most powerful hunters in the game. The reason being is that I've got a 3-star Skull Hunter, which is ridiculous. And I'm not facing any magic damage or much magic damage anyway. So if I was against mages, I would take out one of my other hunters, maybe, I don't know, Shining Archer, and I would put in Tsunami Stalker. If I didn't have a level 3 Skull Hunter, I would put in Tsunami Stalker over Skull Hunter. But I'm not facing any mages, and I've got a level 3 Skull Hunter, so I'm trading more damage and more tankiness for essentially the CC. But you can see I'm starting to win consistently on his board as well. As soon as I pick up a level 3 Razor Claw and I pick up level 3 Shining Archer, this game's basically over. We are just looking for a Whisper Seer. Okay, so there's my level 3 Shining Archer. As you can see, I want it. Sell the Unicorn. I get it. So it sounds like an Ariana Grande lyric. And now that's also going to give me just another out. You know, this is just another 3-star high damage hunter. It benefits from the hunter buff. It can pierce the evasion of the Feathered. I really have no concerns. It's just about winning the rounds consistently enough now to knock him out of the game ASAP. which is, as you can see on my screen, what I'm doing. I also have the refresher orb on my Siren. I mean, this was actually just a ridiculous game for items, so that's kind of what the new update allows to happen. He actually gets pretty close to beating me on his screen, as you can see. It's going much better on his screen than it is on my screen for him. So the most important thing is that he's really not losing much HP per round. So I'm just about grinding it out right now. I'm basically going to roll every turn, like you see here, just looking for that level 3 Razor Claw. I can then also find one more Warpwood Sage, and I'll have a level 3 Warpwood Sage to roll with. Not the Tsunami Stalker, but again, I don't really need it. I much prefer having the damage of Skull Hunter and the tankiness of Skull Hunter versus Feathered, so I don't need to sub in the Tsunami Stalker. And that's what makes this new build really wonderful. That's what makes this new build really wonderful, simply because it's it doesn't rely on a legendary anymore, and 6 hunters are so powerful. It just doesn't rely on a legendary. And that's what's really good about it. And that's why it's probably one of the most consistent builds as well, because there aren't many like high tier, super powerful, full synergies that don't rely on a legendary. And the changes to hunters now means that we don't rely on a legendary to have that in the game. So the only thing I'm looking for here is either a Warpwood Sage or a Soul Reaper just to get the level 2s, but it doesn't really matter. The reason I'm moving things around slightly here, by the way, is because he was always managing to get his Taboo Witcher onto my Razor Claw, and I was never summoning the bear. It's not really for my board. I don't really care for my board, but it's mainly for his board. If I can get the bear out, I might be able to beat him more convincingly, which would end up ending the game much more quickly. But as you can see, he still didn't go for the Skull Hunter and still managed to get onto the Razor Claw. So it's more about just tinkering with that positioning until you get it absolutely right. And again, it's not really for my board. I'm beating him on my board almost every round. It's more for his board, to be completely fair with you. You've got to think about 2 forms of positioning when you're playing this game. You have to think about the positioning that affects your board, but most important, and that's most important when you're on low HP. But at high HP, you have to think about the positioning that affects their board. The positioning that affects their board is probably more so important than the positioning that affects your board if you're at high HP and wanting to knock people out. So sometimes you're positioned specifically in a 1v1 for their board, or rather when there's 3 of you for their board, because actually I suppose it doesn't matter for your board and their board when it's a 1v1. But when it's like 3 people left, sometimes if you know you're facing one person but another person is facing you, you position for their board and you try and just take whatever happens on your board because you have the HP to work with. It's all about positioning to knock people out. So that's another thing that you need to think about when you're in a sort of a last 3 scenario for sure. So I was actually a little bit better on this round, by the way, a little bit better. I didn't roll excessively on the neutral round. I also found a Dragon Blood Axe, which is actually pretty good for my Warpwood Sage. Now, if I did get Warpwood Sage to 3, that would have been insane. However, I didn't get Warpwood Sage to 3, as you'll soon very quickly find out. I did get Soul Reaper to 2, which is nice. But a Warpwood Sage with the items that I've got, plus a Dragon Blood Axe, he's just probably never going to die. But you'll see actually in this round, he doesn't actually die that quickly anyway. He's actually just super tanky as it stands. I moved my Skull Hunter over 1 place without checking his positioning, which was a bit of an error because, as you can see here, he positioned directly in front of my team. Not a big deal because I have a Refresher Orb Siren. So, I mean, as you can see, I'm just going to constantly ult him and he's going to get nothing done. And again, checking it on his board is also really important. Beat him pretty convincingly here as well. And I think this actually knocks him out of the game and we end up winning. Yeah, there's enough damage here to knock him out of the game. Boom! And we end up taking the win, which is insane. I hope you enjoyed this style of video, by the way, guys. This is a little bit different from what I normally do. I don't usually kind of do commentary, but I had to record this at the Riot offices, so I couldn't really talk during the game. But hopefully it was important and, well, not important. Hopefully it was informative and you learned a little bit about the new really overpowered 6 Hunter composition.